Good morning. IIA Chennai chapter has organized a very contemporaneous topic, which is business excellence and internal audit. This is very relevant today because internal audit is called upon to play more of a business role, which is an evolution from the controls role that they were traditionally playing. Internal auditor today is more looked upon as a business advisor and consultant and not just an auditor or a control assurance provider. It has many facets, for example, from governance to risk management to data analytics to business excellence assurance and internal control. Internal auditor today is playing a multidimensional role, and as things evolve and as businesses get more complex, economies more global, internal auditor has to play this role in order to add value to the function and as well as to the business.
This is the annual conference of the Institute of Internal Auditors, Madras chapter, and the theme of the conference is very, very relevant and current and very appropriate for the present day. The theme is business excellence and internal audit, meaning how internal audit services are utilized to achieve excellence in the businesses, whether it is a commercial business or not-for-profit organization, whatever. And nowadays, achieving perfection is not the objective, but achieving excellence within the constraints, considering all the constraints, how to excel, that is the objective of the thing. So we have kept that as the theme of the conference, and we have lined up very, very prominent and eminent speakers, and it's going to start, and the inaugural session is just over with all relevant talks going on about the theme of the conference. And we are very happy that you will be viewing this and you will get benefited. And I request those of you who are not members of IEA can become members and then participate in all the events like workshops, seminars and conferences. It will be great food for thought. The take-home points which you take, you can implement in your organizations for all the benefits. Thank you very much.
The IIA is the global profession supporting the internal audit profession with over 185,000 members around the world in 190 countries and represented through 109 institutes. Internal audit's role in organizations is to enhance and protect organizational value by providing stakeholders with independent and objective assurance, advice, and insight on the information that matters most, as internal audit takes its rightful place in supporting the governance structures in organizations. Today's conference is one here in Chennai that supports and references all of the important things that internal audit does in taking its permanent seat at the table in terms of supporting governance, risk management, and internal control in organizations.
This is Nagesh Pinge. I am the President of the Institute of Internal Auditors, India. Our Madras chapter is organizing this two-day program on internal audit. Business excellence and internal audit is the theme basically. In fact, as all of you are aware, internal audit is considered to be the third line of defense. Now we are evaluating and reviewing it, whether it can become a part of the second line of defense, as it also complements the other things like risk management and the compliance in that regard. So that's an attempt we are doing it. And IIA India is nothing but an institution which is expertise in internal audit, and we are the ones who have the best internal audit standards, and this is what we expect people to use all over the world in that regard. Thank you very much and wish you all the best. Thanks.
That's been the shift. And if you look at the composition of the companies by market cap, there has been a huge, huge change. And this is true the world over. Apply it in any field, apply it in the field of sport. In the 60s, when we claimed that India was the world, because the rules of the game changed. The turf changed to AstroTurf. The rules changed.
Most of the discipline you bring about and cut in discipline, you do it through this function of internal audit. I find somebody in procurement not meeting my overall expectations, efficiency, competence, integrity, etc. I request my internal audit to go and do the needful Not in a negative sense, I'm sorry. You go and objectively do the evaluation and then you fight over the shoulder. So as management, trust me, we actually want a very, very powerful internal auditor who understands and whom I can actually count on to say that this report is so credible that I can take a decision based on this. Where are the gaps? If it is so very important function, where are the gaps? The gaps as I see it. Pardon me for probably some of these observations might be a little too open or too upfront. Most occasions it is the knowledge of the business. I don't find many in the internal audit function investing their heart and soul in understanding the business. When somebody is coming and conversing with me and I dedicate half an hour of my time or 1 hour of my time, if he is not able to talk about the business in the same language I am speaking, I don't think I will give the time. I would have spent time, given a coffee, given a tea, spent time just waiting for that 1 hour to complete. If he is not talking about the nature of my business, the way the transactions happen, the pricing happens in the industry, if he is expressing so much of ignorance and I end up explaining to him, given the premium of my time, I don't think you will be able to get there. More often than not, the gap is actually the knowledge of the business. The second important gap I come across, people are extremely knowledgeable, very, very knowledgeable, auditors, very knowledgeable, they know the business in and out. Ability to communicate, ability to discuss, you tend to get snubbed and next time you lose the opportunity of even being present there. My view, you should use those opportunities more for looking at what is going around the strategy, what is the thinking process for execution of strategy, so that tomorrow when I formulate my internal audit plan, it syncs with whatever strategy the management is taught and doing. Instead of needling around and contributing on how should marketing be done or how should production be done or what all the stuff is to be done. You need to know that somebody else owns that function and what I need to do. In any case, that's my view. I'm subject to correction on that. Prepare for it. You may damage rather than enhance your career. It's also a mistake to view a seat at the table as a source of audit leads. If you leave your first management meeting with plans for immediate audit, this is a beautiful part of his code. This is the last paragraph of his code. If you leave, and this is a mistake I've seen invariably in every internal audit, if you leave your first management meeting with plans for an immediate audit of the operating unit discussed at the meeting, you may not be invited to the next one, unquote. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your patient listening.
Thank you, MD. Just give my comments. So, in one of the meetings that I was attending, I was asked to present about the 3 minutes. You will never be able to do it in 2 hours. So, I think the concept of brevity, poise, what
We're able to gain. So, at a CXO level or at the board level, the person should be able to trust the competence of the person who is actually engaged in the audit. As a management, you're focused on building the business, growing the business, meeting the needs of external stakeholders. So you need to have somebody as a confidant who can actually ensure all the internal controls are in place, processes in place. For example, as a CFO or CXO, when you sign off quarterly, you're signing based on some of the audit processes which have taken place. So unless you have that relationship of trust, and when that relationship of trust comes, what is very important is not a relationship where you're able to speak the same wavelength. I have a little different view there. If the management and internal auditor need not necessarily always think alike, you need to have a little different perspective. That's where the person adds value. And if that person is not able to think that much extra differently, there's no value add which is there. So as a management, I need to encourage person to think differently, and that person should also have the ability to rise to the occasion and add that extra value. That's the that is a significant value add. And given this pressure of time, as he's looking at building his organization, his function, if there is somebody who is going to give him the confidence that as it grows, there is somebody giving
organizations where the internal audit as a function, not the individual auditor, as a function, it's so respected. So when an internal auditor visits, some good coming out of that. So they will not look at it as, oh my, the police guy is coming. The moment they have that feeling,